In this video, I want to show you guys how to do two-dimensional drawing and design in Fusion 360. To start out, if you already have designed a block, you can open that now and draw on top of it, or you can draw from scratch. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to save this file as a desk organizer. Make sure you do not save it in admin project. I've got a general folder set up that I save things in. A project, sorry, not a folder. All right, now we're going to work on getting our units correct and making sure we know how to navigate. So the first thing is to look at your browser, which is this little drop-down menu over here. If you look in Desk Organizer and then under Document Settings, make sure your settings are in inches. Set that as default and click OK. Next thing to do is to make sure you can orbit, pan, and zoom. Orbiting on a computer, you can use Shift and then click the scroll wheel if you're using a mouse. You can also place one finger on your screen to orbit as well on the laptops. To zoom, you can use the scroll wheel in and out, or you can spread your fingers apart or push them closer together. To pan, you can put two fingers on the screen and slide side to side, or click the scroll wheel on a mouse and slide side to side as well. Excuse me. You can also navigate using the view cube on the upper right hand side of your screen. If I click on top, I get a perfect top view. If I click and drag, I can move around different angles as well. And I can do front or top or something like that. This is all visible as well with your origin. The origin is the middle of your coordinate planes where all the axes come together. The red axis is your x-axis, the y is green, and the z is blue in this case. All right, I'm going to start a design by creating a sketch. In this menu here, you'll see all of the different things you can create. We're going to skip this one for now. You can see all of the stuff that you can modify. And then assembling components, using geometry and construction planes, measuring and inspecting, inserting objects in different files in your select menu as well. We're going to start with a new sketch, which is this shortcut, or create sketch, and we're going to click on the base plane here. Once you're in a sketch, it's usually best to not orbit at all, so only using your pan, which is two fingers on your screen, or using zooming with the two fingers spreading apart and going closer together. But if you do orbit a little bit, you can use your view cube to get back onto a straight-on view. Next, we're going to draw a rectangle by going to Create Rectangle, two-point rectangle, also shortcut R on your keyboard, also right here. And there's another way to get to it too that I'll show you later. Well, I'm going to use the shortcut R, or rectangle, two-point rectangle. Click once on the origin. It usually makes sense to not click a little bit off, but to click right on the origin. If it's not snapping to the point, one more thing that you can change is in your grid lines. You can turn on and off your layout grid, and you can also check or uncheck snap to grid if you want to be able to click on the individual gray grid lines. And I usually just draw something random, and then I am going to make it exact. To make it exact, you go to Create, Sketch Dimension, or shortcut D. Then I'm going to click on one of my lines, not this little icon here, but the line itself. I'm going to click up above. And at this line, I want to be 8 inches long to reflect my 8-inch block I'm designing. And then I'm going to zoom out so I can see the whole thing. D for dimension again, or create sketch dimension, and click on the end. This is going to be 3. All right. From this point, you're going to add all of the features that are in your technical drawing. You have the ability to do a lot of different things in Fusion, but the main ones you're going to need are circle, rectangle, line, and probably that's most of what you need for this, but patterns would be cool as well, but we won't get into those yet. Excuse me. So I'm going to first put a rectangle in here, just like we did with the bigger rectangle. I'm going to draw a little shape right here. And then I'm going to use shortcut D for dimension, or create sketch dimension. I'm going to click once on this line, make that 2 inches. Don't copy me, copy your design. And another one here at 1 inch. Notice as I'm clicking here, I'm clicking once on the line and then once to say this is where I want my dimension to show. You can also do a form of dimensioning that involves 3 clicks. If I want this line, click, to be a certain different distance from this line, click, and I want to show that over here, click, I can do that using the dimension tool too. Click, click, and click. Now, if I want to put a bunch of circles on a line, it makes sense to draw the line first. I can use shortcut L on the keyboard for line, or use the line tool here. The most common thing that people get messed up with the line tool is that you only click once at one end of the line and then click again at the other end of the line. If you click and drag, you actually have a way to bend the line, but you generally want to do a just individual clicks to show you where the line's going. I'm going to draw a line from here to here, and let's say I get it off a little bit and it's not actually parallel, but I want it to be. This is where your constraints come in here. In constraints, you have a lot of options for how to make something perfect. If you want it to be horizontal or vertical, just click here, click once on your line, and it'll become horizontal if it's closer to horizontal already. Lots of other geometric constraints you can play with up here too. I'm going to hit escape to get out of that tool. A key part of working with Fusion is using the escape key every time you want to select something, or else you might try to do something to your design. So I hit escape, and now I'm going to click once on this line and hit X on my keyboard, or go to can't remember which menu it's in. Oh yeah, it's in neither of them. You can also right click on your line and say normal construction to switch it back and forth, or shortcut X. I'm going to dimension this to be this line, click, click, and click, to be 0.75 inches from the edge, or 3/4. And then I'm going to draw some circles on this line. To dimension the size of a circle, D for dimension, click on the outside edge of the circle, click somewhere else, and say we want this one to be 5 divided by 16. There's your size. And then I'm going to put another one over here. There are ways to do multiples, but we're going to work on this right now. D for dimension, click on that, and click over here. If I want that dimension to match the other one, I can now again click on this one, and it'll reference the other dimension. Circle, dimension, and click to make it that dimension. I can also dimension the different distance between the circles, like that, and get closer and closer to a fully dimensioned sketch. Everything in your design should be controlled in some way or another so that you can easily copy it when you're designing your other prototype. To turn in this assignment, I want you to take a screenshot of your sketch. But to show you the next step, I'm going to create an object by using an extrude command. So I said finish sketch up here, and then I'm going to go to E for extrude or create extrude. Click on all aspects of the block, including the holes. And I'm going to type -1 to make my shape. Notice my sketch disappears. I can turn it back on by turning on the eyeball right here. And then I can go E for extrude, click on my shapes, and cut them down to the size that you'd like them to be. All right, so remember to turn in your sketch, and you can try to make the full block later too if you want to. All right, there you go.